7 minutes past 11 this beautiful Thursday morning. But we are back and we are better to start off the program again. If you were with us while we were discussing previously, we're talking about scholarships, fundings, helping students achieve their dreams, dream courses, achieve your dream goals of studying anywhere in the world that you desire to study. And we have in the studio today someone who has helped thousands of students in Nigeria to achieve this dream of getting scholarship to fund their dreams. I have in the studio Dr. Michael Taiwo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for the introduction.
Okay, Doctor, we started off by asking about the Michael Taiwo Scholarship Foundation. That you give us a brief rundown of what the foundation is about, what the foundation is into, and just the structure generally.
So the foundation helps prepare people for success in graduate school, and what we do is we take recent graduates and provide them with sponsorship opportunities to have a fully funded scholarship abroad. So that is paying for GRA, paying for TOEFL, school application fees, things like that. Additional score reports as well, and then provide them importantly with the mentorship so that they can capture these opportunities. The opportunities are there, the people are here, and we basically act as a bridge.
So does it also cover for West evaluation?
No, we're not considering West evaluation now because it's still not a it's optional. Some schools require it, some schools don't require it. So because of that, we're not.
Okay, thank you. There's this point I raised using the federal government student loan, and that has just recently been launched as an example that the federal government specifically said that only students who are in federal institutions can apply for these loans. And people see that as a form of discrimination against those who are in polytechnics or colleges of education, especially because of the dichotomy that existed previously. So I want to ask if you have restrictions or conditions or criteria that must be met before one can be eligible for these scholarship programs.
So what is new this year is for the first time ever, we are open down to polytechnic students.
Beautiful.
So if you have an HND degree, it can be OND, it's HND because you need to have finished your HND, you can apply. And the reason is because in the last 1 year, we've seen HND graduates successfully getting fully funded admissions in the US. So if that is possible, then we, being the bridge, should open our doors for that as well. Then for the university, you can be from any university, federal, state, private, public, doesn't matter. Now, eligibility criteria is open to people from all grades, third class, first class, and everything in between. Now, I have to say this. We pattern our selection process after the admission committee that people will be applying to in the US. So we, for instance, say University of Florida, like how would University of Florida select the students that are coming to the program? That's how we also pattern our selection process. Because at the end of the day, the end goal is not to win the Michael Taiwo scholarship. The end goal is for you to get a fully funded admission. So we can't be doing something that is totally different from that end goal. If not, we're not going to see the success that we desire. So we believe in our selection process because, again, we've been around for 5 years, and for 5 years we've seen students win our scholarship and then they end up getting the fully funded admission. So we know this works. And why did I go into that detour is to say admission committees, they use the GPA as one criteria. So you can have a tutu, and in fact in 2020, somebody had a tutu and won the MT scholarship, and she's in a third year program now in the US in North Dakota in a PhD program. So you can have a tutu. Last year there are people with 2 ones that won it. Now it's also true that when you look at the profile of our winners, and all of this is publicly available information, you would see that many of them, they do have first class. And the reason is because GPA is one of the stronger factors that we look at, just like it will be one of the stronger factors that an admission committee is going to look at. It's not the only factor. It doesn't cast the only vote. There are many things we look at. GPA is one of them, and GPA is one of the stronger ones.
Okay, beautiful. In your opening statement, you highlighted that you help fresh graduates. So when you say fresh, we should look at, say, people who just graduated from their first degrees, or do you have a timeline of people who have graduated like 5 years or 10 years, or it's from any range, as long as you're seeking to get admission to graduate school?
That's a good question, and we had a webinar on Sunday. Over 300 people attended the webinar, and that question was asked as well. I can, if you go on our social media handle, you would see a recording of the webinar. So if you didn't catch some of the things I'm saying here, and you want to, listen and get more information, you can visit us online, www.mtscholarships.org, or on Twitter, you say @mtscholarships with an S. You could see, you could listen to the webinar. But to answer your question, what was the question again?
If just for fresh graduates,
5 years.
5 years, okay.
For people that finished in the last 5 years are given preference, and the word is preference. So it doesn't mean that if you finished more than 5 years ago, your chances are not zero. But we prefer those who finished in the last 5 years, who finished their last degree. So let's say, for instance, you had your bachelor's in 2010, and then you had your master's in 2021. You still fall under that fresh graduate. So if you finish your last degree in the last 5 years, you have preference. Again, the word is preference. So from people who are in the final year that would finish in 2024. So we opened from final year 2024 graduates, fresh graduates, and actually you could say anybody, but just that's where our I would say 90% of our winners will come from that category.
Then I was going to ask about the steps involved in the application process, but before then, I'm looking at the time of the year usually when the scholarship can aid these students. For example, TOEFL is usually written all through the year, and you have different dates from January to December. Same with GRE, and the admission season usually comes up between that August. So what time of the year can anyone apply for the MC scholarship?
That's a good question as well. When we started in 2019, we started October 1st, 2019. Just, Independence Day. We feel like this is a good day to start something like that. But then we quickly ran into a situation where the application season was almost closing, especially for the bigger schools. And we couldn't, and when you apply, it still takes about a month or so for us to make decisions. So we were making decisions, I think October 31, 2019, and they were like, school deadline November 1st, November 15, and we couldn't really help the students as much. So since 2019, if you've noticed, we have been bringing forward the opening of the application window, and this year is going to be our earliest window so far. We are actually opening in a few weeks, June 15. So June 15, 2024, the application window opens, and it's going to run for 2 weeks till June 29, 2024. We open it once a year. It's not a rolling application. It's once a year. We open the window, we take in the applicants, and then we go through the selection process.
So this goes to say that it's more for students who are applying for fall.
That is correct. But again, if you think about it, even if you're applying for spring, it's still early enough for you to apply, because for those who are applying in the spring starts January of 2025. The application window usually opens around August, September.
So if you are open for June 15th, it's still going to be open till November, December?
Oh no, it's open for just 2 weeks.
Okay.
June 15 to June 29. That's when we receive the application, and then we start processing, the screening. For those who are lucky, they get called for the test. For those who are even luckier, they get selected from the test, and then there is interview, and then we make decisions. All of that might run till August, so maybe the early part of August.
Okay. Yeah. All right, thank you. Now that we understand the timing of the process, now we need to now get into the steps. What are the steps? How does one have to apply? Do you have an office? You have to approach the office, fill a form, or is it online? How is it done?
That's a good one. It's online. It's a simple form. We made it such that you could apply in 20 minutes or less, and it's very difficult to miss our application process because people are usually kind to forward it to their friends on Telegram, on WhatsApp, on social media. So you would know about this even if you 2 weeks from now, if you just Google Taiwo scholarship, you probably will see the form. It's a simple online form that you need to fill. Something that I need to also tell your audience is that at the point of applying in about 2 weeks, you don't have to upload any document, because a lot of people call us and like, I can't find where I need to upload my transcript. No, you don't have to upload your transcript or your resume, not at this stage. Just apply. Tell us your GPA, we'll take it on trust, but eventually we will verify as you proceed in the process. And the reason we're doing that is because of we're trying to manage our resources. If 10,000 people are uploading their transcript, that's a lot of space and a lot of data for us to handle. So we don't want to deal with that at the beginning stage. But as we begin to narrow down the numbers, then we begin to ask for more information.
Okay, in the course of explaining, this goes beyond just financial aid to the students. You also provide mentorship opportunities and networking for them. But the question I'd like to ask is, eventually these people meet the end goal, according to you, to get the fully funded scholarship, the study. Is there an opportunity created for them through the Taiwo scholarship program to return back to Nigeria, or is a program or a platform for them to continue in the country where they go to study? That's the first question. Then the second question is, the MT scholarship restricted to the US, the UK, Canada, or any country that they desire to study?
That's a very good one. We don't have a requirement for people to come back to Nigeria or to their home countries, because now we are international, and the reason is because we want people to pursue what they feel is best for their career. If staying in the US to work and learn and develop yourself makes more sense, by all means we want people to be able to do so. If coming back to Nigeria makes more sense, we want people to be free to do so. One of the reasons that we started this is because we felt like either way, people are contributing to the society. Number one, the world is now a very small global village. I did not come back to Nigeria after my graduate study, and I'm giving back to this country. So really, it doesn't matter whether people stay behind or they come back. People can still contribute from wherever they are. So that's not a requirement. The second thing is that when we started, yes, our focus was North America, and the reason is because that's where really many of the fully funded scholarships reside. But you can win the microcredit scholarship and go anywhere. Let me tell you the countries that our scholars are now. That is not US or not Canada. UK, Germany, Netherlands, Poland, Malaysia, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, India, Rwanda, South Africa. I just mentioned 10 countries where MT scholars can be found. That is not North America.
Okay, so for listeners, you have seen that MT scholarship is global. You can go anywhere in the world and you can study whatever it is that you desire to study. You talked about that it is easy. You just go on the MT scholarship website and apply. And for those who haven't heard about it, how do people get information? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, what other platforms?
We've not started TikTok yet, but if you go on LinkedIn, you type Taiwo scholarships. If you go on Facebook, if you go on Twitter, and if you go on Instagram, we're on this 4 social media platform. And I know the one for Twitter is at MT scholarships, and that's it. If you're on X and you say at MT scholarships, it's going to get you straight to the page. If you're not on social media, that's fine. If you just want to go directly to our website, you can just say www.mtscholarships.org, and you would find the link to apply. Again, the application is going to open June 15, so if you go right now, you wouldn't be able to apply. It opens 12 p.m. GMT on June 15, and it closes 12 p.m. GMT on June 29.
Okay, I want to ask you a question that is very rare. It's for universities in Nigeria. I don't think any university organizes a program where they teach prospective applicants or prospective students how to apply for their program. Even those who apply for graduate programs abroad, they hardly get that, except for NGOs who decide to say, let us give you this first-hand information on how you can apply to graduate school. So does the MT scholarship have like a program, a webinar to teach people how to apply for the scholarship for them to get selected?
I like that question. So for those who win, yes, right? They have like you said
before they win.
Okay.
For example, it's opening on June 15th. And in May, you can decide that, okay, we have a free seminar, we have a webinar for the application that will open in June 15. So if you are interested, please come so that you can learn the process so you don't make a mistake. That increases your chance of getting selected for the program.
So we did that last Sunday.
Oh, okay.
We did that last Sunday, and if you go on our social media site, you can see the link to watch the webinar. Also, on the application form itself, you would see a video that you can watch that will also guide you on how to fill the application form. So the webinar that we did last Sunday, you can go and watch the recording, and on the form itself, you would find a video that you can click on, watch, and that is going to guide you through the form.
All right, thank you so much for these wonderful insights. But like the typical Nigerians say that nothing goes for nothing. Okay. You have been helping students, giving scholarships, helping people fulfill their dreams. But what do you get in return? How does it benefit you? Like, what is your motivation? You know, as a Nigerian worker, if salaries are increased, you get motivated. You get paid for what you are offering. But in this case now, you are the one giving out. So how does it benefit you? What do you get in return?
So what I get in return and what I tell my scholars is just do well with your life. The best way you can pay me back is to be successful. And I mean, the reason I started this is not really to get anything material or even non-material in return. It's just because it's something, it's a need that needs to be filled. And to me, as long as people are getting our scholarships and they are going forward to do something well with their lives, getting fully funded admission, becoming successful professionals, I know that they are going to help. They don't have to help me, they don't have to help the organization, but I know they're going to help their families. You know, they're going to now their families have one more person that they can call on to help them out, and that I think it's has had a ripple effect. Now looking back, so many people, when I started, I didn't know of any. I mean, if I knew people were doing this, I wouldn't do it, you know. So I started it. But looking back now, in 5 years, I've seen people also say, "Oh, I'm going to do something like that." So that made me really, really happy. Yeah.
All right. Let's now diversify this conversation. For people who just graduated and are going for graduate programs, whether masters, PhD, they go directly to the US or whichever country that they apply to. But there is another dimension to this. Some people are already graduate students in Nigerian universities who intend to go abroad for bench work or for further studies, but they are students here. We have students also in the US or Canada who come to Nigeria to study, and in some cases, let's use the University of Ilorin as an example, we have exchange programs. Where you bring a student here and we in turn send a student to your lab to study. Does the Michael Taiwo Scholarship get involved in student exchange programs? And if yes, what are the programs that specifically do you assist in?
Yeah, that's a good one. The Michael Taiwo Scholarship does not get involved in exchange programs. Our focus is quite clear. As of today, we're focused on final year students, fresh graduates who want to pursue masters and or PhD abroad. Now, specifically for exchange programs, there are a few that people can pursue. The Fulbright Visiting Scholar Program is one of the more popular ones, where you apply to the Fulbright program, and then if granted, you go on a J visa instead of an F visa, which is a student visa, and then you can go in there and study. Most of the exchange programs that I know, they have a requirement of you coming back to Nigeria, in this case, for a year or 2 years, depending on the conditions, to give back. And then if you want to go back, then that's fine. If you want to learn about more exchange programs in the US, you can actually go to exchanges. So exchange with an S, exchanges.state.gov, exchanges.state.gov. It will show you all the exchange programs that are available in the United States. One thing also that I advise people is don't wait for an exchange program or for you to be successful in an exchange program. Or you can also just directly go to the universities and tell them that you are interested in a postdoctoral position. Just the same way a graduate would do to get into MSc or a PhD.
Yes.
A PhD holder already can also do that to get into a postdoctoral position.
Okay, so what are the requirements?
The same way, just approach a professor. Let's say you finish from agricultural engineering, right? And you have a PhD in agricultural engineering, and you're thinking of your postdoc in agricultural engineering. Let's say, for instance, you're already a professor here or a lecturer here in University of Ilorin. You go and you can go to University of Miami or University of Kansas, go to the agricultural engineering department and look for postdoctoral positions and say, hey, I'm already a doctor, but I'm looking for postdoctoral positions. And if they're interested in your profile, you can take it up from there.
So does Michael Taiwo Scholarship Foundation play any role in this?
No, sir, we don't. We are focused more on students going for postgraduate.
Okay. Beyond being a researcher, do you think that there are other skills that I'm talking beyond academics now, that a Nigerian researcher needs to possess to be able to secure these exchange programs that you just slightly highlighted?
Yeah, and one skill is curiosity. Just that curiosity to say, hey, what is out there? Let me, in Nigerian parlance, let me shoot my shot. So if you don't shoot your shot, so you should have that no green mentality that I'm just going to keep
that coconut head mentality.
Yeah, that coconut head mentality that I'm just going to keep pushing until I get a yes. And so I would say resilience. It's its own curiosity, resilience, and learn how to write cold emails. Learn how to write an email that when you send it to a professor, the professor wants to read it and then be motivated enough to reply.
Okay. If you secure a postdoc position in a university outside, yes, it's expensive. Let's start from there. There's transport expenses, there's living expenses, and in some cases, is there funding for these postdoc programs like the normal graduate programs that students go for?
Oh yeah, a postdoctoral position is a fully paid position. So the cheapest ones pay about $40,000 a year. I've heard of postdoctoral positions that pay as much as $60,000 a year. So again, it might not be a lot of money, but you would live well and you have enough to save.
So it's a certainty that it's funded.
It's funded. It's funded. If it's a postdoctoral position, it's funded.
All right, for something of that nature that is funded automatically, that means it will be highly competitive for people to get such positions. Don't you think so?
Yes and no, because unlike students, a lot of them wants to go for masters or PhD. Some PhD they don't want to do postdoctoral position because at the level of postdoctoral position, you're almost telling yourself that you want to be a professor. And not everybody wants to be a professor. I had my PhD and I did not apply to a single postdoctoral position because I wanted to go to the industry. I wasn't interested in being a professor. So it's not. Is it competitive? Yes, but it's not as competitive as you might think. Now, that doesn't mean you can just sit on your couch and then the opportunity will jump at you. You still need to pursue it. You still need to reach out there. But if you do knock on enough number of doors, one of them is going to open.
Okay, so while you were explaining, you made mention of the Fulbright Exchange Program.
Yes.
That's the only program that you mentioned. Are there other exchange programs that people can explore?
Yeah, so there is the Hubert Humphrey Fellowship Program. There is the SUSI, they call this one SUSI, which is Study of the U.S. Institute for Scholars and Secondary Educators. You can find a more complete listing, like I said, in exchanges.state.gov. If you go to that site, you would find a more comprehensive list of exchange programs that people can go for.
Okay, let me ask. You did your PhD in
chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering, beautiful. Okay, let's delve a little bit into your field. Engineering has to do with, especially now, that people are channeling their energy or their efforts or whatever research they do into renewable energy, because I think it's safer and it's better for the environment. Let's talk about hydrogen gas, the future of energy. Can you explain what hydrogen gas is and why it is being considered as a future energy source?
That's a very good question. So hydrogen, pound for pound, hydrogen is the most energy dense molecule that we have. In fact, if you think about it, we call oil and gas and coal, we call it hydrocarbon. The hydrogen is hydrogen and then carbon. So it's an energy source. It's a very dense energy source. It's one of the most abundant element in the universe, but it's not naturally occurring. So hydrogen today still has to be produced, either by steam methane reforming, or by electrolysis, or by co-pyrolysis, but it still has to be produced. It's a future energy source because it's a clean energy. When you burn hydrogen with oxygen, it just gives you water vapor, so it doesn't pollute the atmosphere. And that's why people are looking at hydrogen as one of the solutions to get into this net zero carbon neutrality future that we're looking at. I'll give you one use case for hydrogen. Say you have your solar energy, or you have your wind renewable energy. During the day, or when it's windy, you generate this electricity, and then you store it as hydrogen by using it, using to power an electrolyzer plant, and then the hydrogen is stored. And now, once stored, the hydrogen can be transferred, across the world or across the nation as you see fit.
So the hydrogen gas is very important for as a future source of energy.
Yes, and you can also liquefy it. So it's a gas, meaning you can liquefy it, and once you liquefy it, you can even transport even more volume across the world.
Okay. For future researchers, are there opportunities for Nigerian researchers to get involved in hydrogen gas research? And you, as a chemical engineer, should be able to tell us some of the criteria or requirements for people to get involved in this type of research.
To get involved, you would need to, I think, chemical engineering, industrial chemists, or just chemists. Those are already those are fields that are already in this space. In Nigeria, I don't know of any hydrogen research facility per se, hydrogen focused facility. So I would say if you really want to be in this space, your best bet for now might be to go outside of the country and learn about the technology, and then you can think about a few years from now coming back to implement the technology in Nigeria.
Okay, do we have disadvantages to using this as a source of energy?
The short answer is no. The longer or more nuanced response is because it's a new technology, it's expensive today.
So cost is a major problem.
So cost is a major problem today. But the technology itself, whether the safety or the environmental impact, is fantastic.
But a lot of research, let me not say a lot, but some researchers have argued that it in a way contributes to global warming, and the process usually results in heating. It generates a kind of heat that is capable of probably causing harm or increasing the temperature of the environment.
Yes, that is correct, because most of the hydrogen produced today, it's produced by a process called steam methane reforming, which requires you to burn natural gas over steam. So natural gas is CH4, steam H2O. So CH4 plus H2O gives you CO2, which we don't want, and hydrogen. Now, that is why in the renewable energy space now, we have carbon capture. It's becoming more popular, because once you produce hydrogen using that steam methane reforming process, you can then capture the CO2. So you have your hydrogen without the CO2 attached. One other thing that some researchers have said is a concern is if hydrogen leaks into the atmosphere, it also has a GWP, global warming potential, that is even higher than CO2.
That is the fear that most people have expressed.
Yeah, so the way you control that is you control the leaks, right? So how do you control the leaks? you ensure that the mechanical integrity of the equipment that you're using in your hydrogen plant or in your hydrogen station is according to standards, so that you don't have leaks of hydrogen into the atmosphere.
All right, this is talking pure science now. Okay, looking at this, owing to the fact that it is gaining more recognition and a lot of people are investing into this research, as a chemical engineer, what do you think is the future of this form of energy? We are still going to discuss other sources of energy, nuclear, whatever there is, but let's look at the future of using hydrogen gas.
People have asked me, will hydrogen displace coal, or will it displace natural gas? And my answer is no, but hydrogen is going to have its place on the table. Just like we're all sitting around the table now and we have a seat, hydrogen is going to have a seat on the table of the energy mix of the future. Oil did not displace coal, has been mined for hundreds of years, and then oil came in 1859. Oil did not displace coal. Natural gas came in the 60s, we were able to even liquefy it. Natural gas did not displace oil, it came and it took its place. That's going to be the same story for hydrogen. It's going to come, it's going to have its place. And why it's not going to displace and have its place is because we are having more people, and more people are needing more energy. So the energy need of the world is going to increase. And then where will the future sources of energy come from if energy needs are going to increase? Because of the twin forces of population growth and increased prosperity. Things like hydrogen.
So do you think it will displace nuclear energy too?
No, I think we need all of the above. I really do think that the future of energy is all of the above future. We need it to be more clean because we don't want more CO2 into the atmosphere. But I think all of these sources, they will have their place. And not only will they have their place globally, but also each region is going to skew towards more of one form of energy than the other. For instance, France. The biggest source of energy in France is nuclear. 80% of their electricity is generated by nuclear power. It's not the same in the US. The biggest source of electricity in the US is still coal, believe it or not. They burn coal for energy. And that's the biggest source of electric power. So it's going to vary by region. But if you look at it on a global scale, the future is going to be all of these things. Coal, natural gas, nuclear, oil, hydrogen, geothermal, wind, solar, all of the above.
Let's look at our country now, because you mentioned France. Nigeria, we mainly rely on coal.
Yeah. We also have dam,
hydroelectricity.
Yeah.
But let's look at looking at Nigeria's landscape. Do you think it's right for Nigeria to adopt nuclear energy? Nigeria can invest in that in terms of recharge, in terms of building such facilities that can help us generate nuclear energy.
I think it's going to be a smart thing to do. We need more, what is the definition of energy? This is like SS1 physics. Energy is the ability to do work, right? So the more energy that we have, the more work we can do. The more work we can do, the more money we make as a country. Because at the end of the day, the GDP of a country is the sum total of the goods and services that have exchanged hands in that country. You can't do that if you don't have energy. So investing in nuclear power for Nigeria, I think is going to be a smart investment.
All right, thank you very much. I hope that our leaders and our Minister for Science and Technology will actually think of that particular point that you've just made there. We have been speaking to Dr. Michael Taiwo. He's a scholar, he's a researcher, and he's a philanthropist. I permit me to add that to your name because you have been helping a lot of people and you deserve that to be added to your name. He's been talking to us about the Michael Taiwo Scholarship Foundation, how students can get funding for their basic exams before graduate school admission, talking about GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, or any other exam that prepares you for graduate school. And even those who have gotten admissions and want to pay for application fees, Michael Taiwo Scholarship is also there to help you get your admission scholarship fees paid. June the 15th, which is just a few weeks from now, it will be open. Just go to www.michaeltaiwoscholarship.org and you will get the information there, and you will also get the form on the website. Just fill it. There's no need to upload your certificates, no need for transcript. Just give them your information there. If you are selected, then you can continue with the other processes. But if you want to check them on Twitter, it's at MT Scholarships. At MT Scholarships, you go there, you can also get. Now remember that those who just graduated like 5 years ago, you get a preference for the eligibility criteria. But for those who have graduated 5 years and above, you are still eligible to apply. So do not rule yourself out. You still stand a chance of winning the scholarship program. Dr. MT would like to thank you very much for finding out time to explain this to us in details.
The pleasure is mine. I was coming into the campus today. I was brought by my friend Dr. Adiola Kirimade, and he brought me here. And you have a very beautiful campus.
Thank you very much.
You have a very nice radio station, and it's truly an honor of mine to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We really appreciate it. And we know that there's somebody outside this country who runs a scholarship foundation like you too for students abroad who want to come to Nigeria to study. So Nigeria is a good place to study too.
Okay.
So people outside can still come in and study here.
All right.
So,
I'll tell my American friends to check out
okay, beautiful. Dr. Michael Taiwo, it's been a great honor interacting with you on our radio station Good Morning, and I hope that when next we extend our invitation, you will still be able to oblige and come.
Yeah, you guys are better by far.
Thank you very much. All right, listeners, this is where we get to draw the curtain on today's program. I hope you have benefited so much from the interview with Dr. Michael Taiwo. You can keep up with him. Can you please share your handles, social media handles, so that people can get to connect with you, sir?
On LinkedIn, if you just type Michael Taiwo PhD, you should find me. On X, I'm more active on X as a way to mentor young ones. You say at ask Michael Taiwo. The Michael there is A before E, so it's MICHAEL Taiwo TAIWO. At ask Michael Taiwo on X, you should find my handle.
All right, it's very simple. Just go to LinkedIn, Michael Taiwo PhD. You go to X, ask Michael Taiwo. All right, that's very simple. I think I'm going to follow you right away because this wealth of knowledge doesn't just stop here. It keeps coming. So thank you very much. Till next week when we bring you another very interesting interview again. My name is Oyahire. Thank you very much to everyone who's made this program a success. Tululokpe, Jolayemi, and I've forgotten your friend's name, Dr.
Adiola Akirimade.
Dr. Adiola.
He's a professor at Al Ikma University.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much
for
your contributions to the success of this program. Till
Thank
next week, my name is Oyahire Ikhwemen. Have a very beautiful afternoon.